Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be answering one of the questions that you guys have submitted, which reminds me, if you have any other questions for us to make videos on, let us know in the comments section below. But for today's video, Celestial has asked, all couples will fight, but at what point does it just show that y'all are just incompatible and gotta go separate ways? In today's video, Emily and I are going to be sharing with you guys 3 tips, 3 ways that you might know that it's not worth fighting for the relationship and you really should just give up. So stay tuned. Okay, before we share with you guys the 3 tips that we have for you guys today, we wanted to make it clear that these are things that we want you to apply towards your dating or courtship relationships, not to a marriage. If you're married, you've made a commitment to each other and you've made a commitment to God that you would see this through, better or worse, till death do you part. So if you're married, stick it in, but if you're still dating, then these are some things that we think you should consider. But with that said, let's go ahead and move on to tip number 1. And tip number 1 is we want you to pay attention to the flaws of your partner. Find someone whose flaws you're willing to put up with for the rest of your life. In other words, what we're trying to say is that there is no one that is perfect on this earth. Aside from Jesus, there's never been a perfect human being. And so what that means is that everyone has weaknesses, everyone has flaws and things that they're struggling with. Emily does. I do. We deal with these things on a regular basis in our relationship. They're not always fun to deal with, but you want to make sure that you know what you're getting into. You're going to have fights when you're married, but what do you want to be fighting about? What do you want your conflicts to be about, and what are you willing to put up with?
Exactly. You have to look at your values and goals in life, and you have to realize, is this flaw something I'm willing to put up with for the rest of my life? For example, if they have a history of alcoholism and that keeps coming up within their relationship, maybe that's something you don't want to put up with in your relationship. Maybe they come from a broken family and they have issues with trust and that keeps coming up time and time again, and that's really hard to deal with in a relationship with trust. So you have to decipher for yourself, what am I willing to put up with?
Yeah, and some of you guys might be okay with dealing with some of the trust issues, and some of you guys might not be. And so it really depends on you guys. So for us, I'll be the guinea pig in this relationship. I struggle a lot with frustration and anger. We knew this going into it. Apparently, Emily was willing to put up with that because things haven't changed with our marriage. Of course, there's growth and there's development, but by and large, the majority of our conflicts relate back to our core challenges. And Emily has those, I have those. Everyone has this. So find someone whose core challenge you're willing to put up with for the rest of your life.
Tip number 2, if the person isn't continually supportive of your growth, dreams, and goals in your life, if they're constantly bashing your ideas and not supportive of the goals and dreams God has put on your heart, then that would be a red flag, because you're continually called to grow and be a better person and accomplish goals.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about how exhausting it would be to come back, you've been pouring your heart and your soul out into your job or to your mission or to your different projects that you really believe in and you trust, and then you come home and this person's like, why were you doing that? That's just stupid. That's just a waste of time. Like, you're not even good at that. And you just imagine that kind of negativity day in and day out. It's already difficult to follow your dreams. It's already difficult to accomplish everything that you want to accomplish when you have someone who believes in you, when you have someone who is supportive. So if that person isn't supportive to begin with, that might be something that you want to consider. This really comes into kind of the real purpose behind marriage, at least from a Christian perspective. We see the example of Adam and Eve in the garden, that they were joined together for a purpose, that they were actually meant to join together to accomplish a mission. And so you want to find someone who not only supports your mission, but is willing to jump in on that mission as well. If they're not, maybe not worth it. And before we jump in and share our 3rd and last tip, things that you should be considering, we wanted to hear from you guys. What would you add to the conversation? What would you share as advice for someone who's wondering, is this relationship still worth fighting for? Let us know in the comment section below. And tip number 3 is to take special note over what kind of things you are fighting about. Like we mentioned, there's going to be fights in the relationship, but you want to make sure that you're not fighting about core things. There are core things and there are peripheral things that actually don't matter.
Things like food or music that you disagree on, those are peripheral things that don't really matter. Like Justin and I don't like a lot of the same foods.
Or music. She loves country music. I think it's like the dumbest category of music in the world, so sorry if I disagree with you on that one. But even on our first date, I asked you what was your favorite food, and you're so excited about it.
It was Lebanese food and he hated it.
It's actually my least favorite food of all time.
Yeah.
And sorry if any of you guys are Lebanese. No disrespect, just don't love the food. But clearly we disagree about those things and our relationship is still okay. And that's totally fine. But we want to challenge you guys to make sure at least the core things you agree about those things. Things like your faith, things about the purpose of family or the value of the family. There's different things that really matter that you want to make sure that you're on the same page about. So what are you fighting about? What are the challenges in your relationship? And do those actually matter, or are those kind of peripheral things? But there you guys have it, 3 things to be thinking about when you're considering, is this relationship worth fighting for or not? Thanks so much for watching. We will see you guys next time.